But anyways, it's been a long few months, and I would say it's another storm in my life when it comes to trusting the Lord pertaining to healing and suffering. And I know what the Word says, and I know that we hold to the faith of being healed in Jesus. But I think the hardest part in dealing with suffering, health-wise, or in other ways, but mostly I'm highlighting health, is when your heart, you feel like you're in faith, your heart wants to reside there and chooses to believe and wants to trust the Lord in those things, and then still continues to see suffering and loss. I have no idea where I left off. I think I was pointing mostly towards when you really feel like you're staying in a place of faith and you're really just resting in the finished work of Jesus, and yet you still suffer. I don't know, because it's a confounding thing. You know, I've seen people that truly have believed, and yet they didn't see their healing for years, including me. And I would, stand on it every damn day for nearly 4 years as I suffered and cry and weep in pain. And still not see it come manifest, as I'm thanking Jesus already for the healing. It was only until I was bedridden for 9 days and couldn't even move that I fell into a vision where he showed me he was being whipped with the cords. He was being scourged, as it says, by his stripes we have been healed. And perhaps that visual is something that ignited within me, but I had petitioned, I had decreed, I had thanked Jesus for countless days and weeks and years. Called up one time with Joan Hunter and was prayed over, and it loosened up, and I believed I was healed, and then it came back, and then, I don't know, a year or two later, and there was another conference with Randy Clark, and that was the one time when I felt the electricity of God. I was like shaking in the electricity of God. It felt like electric currents, and I was like, like that pretty much. And it loosened up then, and then it still didn't go away for like a whole year. And I was like, what the hell? And I did like walks of faith. I remember walking, limping in pain. Took painkillers probably constantly for like a year straight when I was starting this job. And I had to rove with like an extra. Roving is just you're walking and checking doors, essentially. Security stuff. Yeah, but I would shake in pain, popping painkillers every day. I try not to either, because I was like, I'm walking in faith. And then ending the day just like shaking and like convulsing and like ready to like fall over from the pain and agony. And I still believed. And anyways, that was a process. I remember believing to the very last day that my dad died and went on to glory. I petitioned for him every day for 6 long months. And day in and day out, I saw continuous suffering. Apparently this is like segment 3. It's because I'm at work and it's hard just to talk when you're working. Anyways, yeah, I remember going into the hospital every day and facing all this weird spiritual friction and warfare, to even just, I don't know, speaking scripture and putting on like anointed music for my dad, and really believing. Like, I would do updates I think every week, and I was just a year in with walking with the Lord again, and I was declaring scripture over him and really believing, you know, even to the last few days of his life, that the Lord would heal him. And he suffered horribly through those 6 months. And I think sometimes we'd like to think that it's as easy as having enough faith, you know. And I understand that, because sometimes we're not able to receive. And so we have to build up our faith to believe. But sometimes, even if you believe to someone's last dying day, or if that person's believing to their last dying day and it doesn't happen, we have to look past our own understanding in that. And I think it's hard sometimes to hear how people who haven't gone through suffering like to think that it's that easy. And even if you have gone through suffering and you don't understand why someone else is not getting healed, to question their ability to receive, I think it's quite shallow, actually. Perhaps merely to grow in compassion, whether we see people healed or not, is the bigger picture, I wonder sometimes. Maybe it's just merely to grow in compassion, to understanding another's suffering, so you can share when other people go through heartache and loss and suffering.